Hey guys, welcome back to TEW. We are of course doing our local to global and we are Classic Championship Wrestling. If we go over our last two shows from the previous episode, we have Infamy defeating King Cash and Mikey O'Shea, and then Infamy made a promo about how they want to dominate the tag team division, but surprisingly didn't ask for a tag title shot. We then had the Circus Disciples, which was Drexel, Kerry Awful and Eric Cannon, defeat Adrian Ortiz and the Prawn Patrol. The Rebels would announce that a 3v3 title match with Gia Miller banned from ringside. Suzu Suzuki and Alex Garcia defeated Serena Deeb and Hanako. Backstage fight, which caused Kevin Blackwood to end up bloodied. Kevin Blackwood defeated Cody Chun following that backstage brawl. We then had the Prawn Patrol find the blood and carnage backstage, and they vowed to solve the mystery of who was attacked. Obviously, Prawn Patrol are Swoggle and Cajun Cordad in their gimmicks, but also as police officers. Think sort of like the fashion police from, 2016 SmackDown or whatever it was. We had Ultrasonic defeat KTB and Ace Romero, and in the post-show, Prawn Patrol would defeat Ariel Dominguez and Lord Byron just to try and get some of that ring rust off. In our next show, we had the Midnight Heat defeat Mike Seidel and Marino Tanagella. We then had an Infamy cut a backstage promo. Kinsey Page would defeat Ida Bradley. Prawn Patrol would find management who wasn't really listening to them and sort of just, smiled and nodded and agreed to whatever they were saying. And it turns out Prawn Patrol had put themselves on the case to find whose blood it was. Prawn Patrol would then go to the ring and defeat Herzog and Eddie McQueen. Kevin Blackwood would cut a promo talking about how the Rebels will defeat the Circus tonight and reclaim the CCW World Heavyweight title and end the Circus for good. Suzu Suzuki and Adrian Ortiz would defeat Serena Deeb and Robert Marta. And in the main event, the Circus Disciples minus Gia Miller would defeat Kevin Blackwood and Ultrasonic to retain the heavyweight and tag team titles. Now, if we go over our finances, if you remember last episode, we made a profit for the first time. We made £2,000, so hopefully things are going to continue going that way. It's looking promising. We're working on our merch eventually, so we'll boost that up. But if we go back to our finances, ticket sales of $4,000 to awesome, broadcast revenue of almost $4,000 as well, sponsor money and merchandise kicking into high gear. And if we look at our size, slowly going up. 20 in the Midwest, 28 in the Northwest. So we're in a good spot here. A really, really good spot. If we just check out our titles before we kick the episode off, Serena Deeb is our Women's World Champion. Drexel is our World Heavyweight Champion. We're yet to crown our Junior Heavyweight Champion. And our Tag Team Champions are Eric Cannon and Kerry Awful from the Circus of Disciples. Now, if we go over the news, Gunther is the Male Wrestler of the Year so far. WWE being the Company of the Year so far. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, the Female Tag Team of the Year. We have Angel De Oro and Nabila Roja being the Male Tag Team of the Year so far. With Elimination Chambers, Cody Rhodes defeating Randy Orton as the Match of the Year. And the same show being the Show of the Year so far. Thea Hale is the Female Young Wrestler of the Year. And Mascara Dorada, obviously. Becky Lynch being the Female Veteran. Eli Drake, I almost called him LA Knight. He is LA Knight though, the name threw me off. Being the Male Veteran Wrestler of the Year so far. Rhea Ripley, unsurprisingly, Female Wrestler of the Year so far. Aries is the Male Independent Wrestler of the Year. And Fabi Apache is the Female Independent Wrestler of the Year so far. Interesting. AJ Styles is retiring in 3 months. I kind of want to bring him in for one match, He won't, but I'd love to bring him in for one match before he retires. Is there anything else here? Starlight Kid staying with Stardom. Yo is leaving New Japan. I really like the tag team with Sho and Yo, and I feel like both guys have just not really done anything since they split. I know it's been years, but yeah, they just haven't really done anything. But that being said, there doesn't seem to be any more news, so we will skip ahead. Any news we'll talk about, and if not, I'll show you at the shows. In crazy news, Randy Orton has become engulfed in a major scandal after being caught up in a sex scandal. Which means he's been fired from the WWE. We are going to shortlist him. He'll never join us. £6,000 a show. Yeah, he'll never join us, but I kind of want to see what happens, like where he ends up. Does he go AEW, TNA, what? Heated argument between Adrian Butler and Kelly Kinsad. Is there anything else here? Gigi Dolan staying with WWE. Joe Tessadori is re-signing. Fred Rosser has left New Japan. The problem is he's based in Japan, which is not what I need. We're going to bring him in for one appearance, potentially. And if he doesn't move over, then we won't worry too much. Okay, it's time for our first show of the episode, so we can give some people the night off. We are going to give Angle the night... I didn't mean to shortlist him. Give the night off, because we're still waiting for him to move. Take you off the shortlist. Eric Cannon can come off the shortlist. I didn't realise I've left half these people on. I've just given them the night off. I didn't mean to do that. You know, actually, that's fine. That is fine. We'll keep the Hall Sisters. We'll keep the Cooks. We need Cajun Crawdad. We need Kathy Kelly. We need D.A. Brewer. Dion Russman can have the night off. Eddie Pearl can have the night off. Kevin Cook, we need. Kerry Awful can have the night off. Kenzie Page. Jessica Carr. Hanako. If I press the right button. Ethan HD. Valkyrie. We need Swoggle. Suzu Sonico. Serena Deeb. Ricky Gibson. We'll keep Rebel Kell. Yeah, we'll keep Rebel Kell. Radar, we need Mike Santiago. We don't need Lisa Hall. Kevin Egan, Kevin Cook, Kevin Blackwood. We don't need Josiah. We need Jim Smallwood. We'll keep Gigi Ray. We'll keep Gia Miller, Drexel. Okay, we are good with our people. Tonight's venue, back to the Northwest. Finalise our broadcasters, so we'll get broadcasting on everyone. Get our booking team. Can I spend anything? Yeah, let's spend a creative finish. Perfect. Locker room incident. Someone wants to hang out backstage, sure. G Miller was in fine form before the show, keeping everyone in a great mood with hilarious road stories. Good. D'Lo did training for Rebel Kell and Gigi Ray. Perfect. And Devon did training for Notice and Crawdad. Cool. Address the locker room. Let's medal. Let's try and bond Swoggle. Never mind. Sure, Swoggle and Kathy Kelly. Why not? Right, let's book this show, and I'll see you guys on the results page. Okay, and our first match on the show, the Horse Sisters would defeat Jazzy Yang and Katie Arquette. 45 segment rating with a 38 wrestling rating. Bambi Hall with a 51, Lisa Hall with a 48. Katie Arquette 33 and Jazzy Yang 19. Jazzy Yang being off her game doesn't really help, but the Horse Sisters just killing it again. We then cut to the back where Cajun Crawdad and Swoggle are cutting a promo on Kathy Kelly, talking about how they will find some clues. They haven't had any luck so far though. They've got a blood trail though, that's all they know, but they will find clues as to who was the attacker. We then get another promo after the break with Kathy Kelly interviewing the Rebels. Kevin Blackwood's talking about how they had no luck last show, and Ultrasonic just walk away from him mid-promo, sort of leaving him off guard. We then cut to the ring where Ultrasonic would lose to the Cook brothers after a distraction from Gia Miller. Look at how good this did. 55 segment rating, 46 wrestling rating. Kevin Cook with the 31, Brian Cook with the 48, Radar 45, Sonico 61, creative finish was a success as well. All those bonuses, awesome. 55 match rating, perfect. After the match, Sonico would, it says attacks, he doesn't attack him, but Sonico and Radar clearly having a bit of a argument, and Sonico shoves Radar and then walks away. We then cut to the back where Drexel and Gia Miller are cutting a promo in the boiler room, talking about how the cracks in the Rebels are now showing. We then have Gigi Ray and Rebel Kell defeat Christina Von Eerie and Hawley Cromwell. Rebel Kell with the 39, Gigi Ray with the 27, not too bad. 35 segment rating, 31 wrestling rating. Kind of expected this to not be as good of a match, but I do need to get Gigi Ray and Rebel Kell some wins. We then have Drexel defeat Yabo the Clown in 10 minutes, a 43 segment rating. Drexel the 49 though, awesome. And after the bell, Takumi Baba would return and beat down Drexel before running off through the crowd. We then have King Cash taking on Kevin Blackwood, 46 segment rating, 50 wrestling rating. Kevin Blackwood would get the win with the running knee strike as per usual. The great performance of Kevin Blackwood really stood out with a 62. Nice. King Cash suffered an injury, not too worried, he's not one of our wrestlers. And in our main event, Serena Deeb would take on Suzu Suzuki for the Women's World title. Suzu with the 56, Serena Deeb with the 48, 52 wrestling rating and a 58 segment rating. Serena Deeb would get herself intentionally counted out to save her title, with Suzu really up in the tempo of the match and sort of just wrestling circles around her. And in the post-show, once again, getting Prawn Patrol a few matches in to get rid of any ring rust. Cajun Crawdad with the 41, Swoggle with the 30. They would get the win, a 26 wrestling rating, so we definitely need these guys to up the tempo a little bit before we can put them on the main shows properly. Overall, nice solid show, 51 rating, increased our regions in 18. So if we address the locker room, I mean, who do I want to give it to? Probably Suzu to keep her happy, because we did that last show. And you know, I reckon Serena Deeb as well, because she's been putting in just all-star performances every week. So Suzu seemed pleased and Serena seemed pleased. Injury review, we don't really care about King Cash. Financial report, we did lose £400, but bearing in mind, because you know how we have been doing, I'll take that. Popularity recap, we have gone up to a 30 in the Northwest. Damn, we gained 2 points. Sick. And we've gone up in the Southwest. We're really getting there in Canada. 11 in British Columbia, nice. It's the day after the show and Ric Flair has sadly passed away. Akira Taue is leaving Noah. We also have both headhunters saying farewell to the wrestling business at the exact same time. Never seen that before. We can bring in Fred Rosser for a match, so let's bring him in. Hopefully he'll move over. And our viewing figures, we had 11,000 viewers overall. Fantastic. If we come to our finances, how are we looking for them up? We're still £1,000 up, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. We could actually make a pretty decent profit this month. Okay, Suckman have offered a contract to Giselle Shaw, which I think that's kind of going to kill us using her going forward. She's still a TNA anyway, which increases her costs. But now that she's working for another company as well, I think that's just going to make it even harder. So I think it's time to remove her from the shortlist. We got a good match out of her with Valkyrie anyway. But yeah, I think our long-term plans of potentially bringing her in, probably not going to happen. Sean Benjamin and Frank Gastineau have had an argument within Defy. The Bunny has joined TNA. Obviously, she very recently appeared back in wrestling in TNA's like USA versus Canada thing. I didn't watch it, but I saw it all over like Twitter and stuff. And Giselle Shaw has signed that deal with Sakuban, which we kind of expected. Okay, TNA held their Slammiversary event, so let's go over it. The show starts with a brawl between Bianca Belair and Harley Cameron. Xia Brookside would defeat the Bunny to retain the Knockouts World title. An interview with Santina Morella, and then a backstage segment with Maki Ito. Matt Cardona and Motley Crue defeated Alpha Bravo, Kevin Knight and Frankie Kazarian. We then had an interview with Masha Slamovich. Eddie Edwards and Kushida would defeat the most pro wrestling gods. Who is them? Oh, it's Moose and Brian Myers, because it's usually Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. Interesting. Megan Bain had a backstage segment. We then have the most pro wrestling gods attack Eddie Edwards and Kushida. Then a hype video with the Rascals versus Zero Gravity. Zero Gravity defeat the Rascals. Zero Gravity being Ace Austin and Myron Reed. Okay. Masha Slamovich defeated Ferris Phone. Not entirely sure who that is, but good for them. Backstage segment with Alpha Bravo. We then have a hype video for Sami Callihan and Joe Hendry, in which Sami Callihan would defeat Joe Hendry for the digital media title. Alex Hammerstone would defeat Jeff Hardy, Jonathan Gresham and Mike Bailey to retain the TNA X Division title. The fact that Alex Hammerstone has the X Division title is wild. Bianca Belair would defeat the Harley Cameron, Rebecca Hardy and Megan Bain. What a match that is. And in the main event, Nick Nemeth would defeat Mike Santana for the TNA World title. How did this match do? Nice. Mike Santana had a higher in-ring performance than Nick Nemeth. The more you know. Okay, it's time for our second show of the episode. So, Steel won't move over, so let's give him the night off. We might just release him at this rate. We need Eric Cannon. We don't need the Halls or the Cooks. Devon, Crawdad, Kathy Kelly. We don't need D.A. Brooks. We've got Jessica Carr. We don't need Infamy. We don't need Midnight Heat or these guys. We don't need Gigi Ray. We'll keep Fred Rosser. Drexel. Don't need Josiah. We don't need Mike Santiago or Lisa Hall. Don't need Kenzie Page. Don't need Valkyrie. Sonico. Don't need Saya. We don't need Gibson. We don't need Rebel Kell. I think we need everyone else here though. This looks good to me. Beautiful. Tonight's venue, we are going to the Midwest. Try and boost this popularity as well. Broadcasters, let's get them all on. Let's just make sure we are on both. Perfect. Booking team meeting, we're not going to spend any creative energy. Logan Reed wants to hang out backstage, sure. So Devon did training for Notice and Crawdad. Jim Small and Serena Deeb have been getting on particularly well, good. Notice and Drexel have been getting on really well, awesome. Okay, address the locker room, let's inspire, why not? Perfect. Okay, we are going to set this up, and I'll see you on the results page. Okay, in our opening match, Takumi Baba would defeat Kevin Cook. Baba with the 60 rating. Holy cow. 51 wrestling rating and 54 segment rating. We then have Eric Cannon and Kerry Awful from the Circus Disciples run down and beat Baba down. We then have Prawn Patrol defeat La Matanza Barata Jr. and Taylor Rhodes. Taylor Rhodes was rusty, that's fine. This was essentially just to, boost up Prawn Patrol's popularity with some wins. 33 rating from Swoggle, 44 from Cajun Crawdad, 37 overall. We will happily take that. We then follow them to the back where they discover the crime scene, in quotations, and they see Hanako standing there. And they accuse Hanako, trying to interview her, interrogate her, find out what she knows about the crime, accuse her of doing it. In which case she stands up and they immediately run away in fear. We then get the Circus Disciples teaming together to defeat James Berkman and Jeffrey Barry in a very quick domination match. Kerry Awful with the 14, Eric Cannon with the 45, 34 segment rating and a 27 wrestling rating. We then cut to the back where Kevin Blackwood is trying to unite Ultrasonic after last show's issues, shall we say, in which Takumi Baba walks into the interview and extends his hand to Blackwood to join the Rebels. Kevin Blackwood would lead Ultrasonic to the ring to take on JJ Garrett, Royce Isaac and Ryzen, in which they would win. Radar with the 48, Sonico with the 60, Kevin Black with the 62, absolutely killing it. JJ Garrett really, and Royce Isaac's really the only ones putting in a good performance on the heel team. 54 segment rating and a 47 wrestling rating. We then get Serena Deeb versus Zuzu Suzuki for the Women's World title, in which Thekla, the Toxic Spider, would debut assaulting Suzu Suzuki, allowing Serena Deeb to pick up the win. This had a 70 wrestling rating with a 57 segment rating. Suzu with a 79, Serena Deeb with the 60. This was let down because of the commentary. It was also poorly placed. The technical match isn't the right thing to be feeding a rowdy crowd. Good to know for future reference, but 70 wrestling rating is insane. And our main event, Drexel would defeat Fred Rosser to retain the CCW World Heavyweight title. Our show's increased popularity in 17 regions, and it benefited from having a wide selection of angles. Good. So if we address the locker room, we will give this to, it's got to be Serena Deeb and Suzu again. These guys absolutely killed it. 70 wrestling rating. Was pleased and was pleased. We lost 3,500, not worried. Popularity, look at this. Gaining in all areas, awesome. You love to see it. Okay, it's the day after the show, and we have Sanada as the chief enforcer of All Japan since joining them. So good for Sanada. Jokoff is leaving ROH. Mosh is retiring. Fred Rosser has obviously left us. Mike Santiago, body type change, gone from average to flabby. Baba. Haneko's going to be a star in my opinion. She's worth pushing hard. Okay, Baba. Didn't realise you were such a locker room leader now. Holy crap. If we come to our creative franchise players, he's not quite on here. They're still next big things. He's not. Is he a showstopper? Nope. Is he a ring general? Nope. Our women's division is stacked though. Look at this. They're literally all over the place. Awesome. If we go to our finance quick, still $750 up. So we will make a profit again for sure. So nice. Very, very nice. How are our titles doing? 43 still, 40, okay, 26, cool. Well, usually we'd only do 1 month an episode, but because we missed an episode last week, thanks to my awful TMJ, you're going to get 2 months worth of shows in this episode. So let's keep the episode going. Okay, it's time for our next show, and we've actually skipped the night off because of reasons, which you'll see when we get to the results. Let's get our TV shows booked. We'll spend some creative energy. Cool, I need a creative finish for one of the matches I have planned, so that's fine. Ace Romero's turned up asking if we might use him tonight. Sure. What do I want to use him? Let's heal. Serena Deeb and Hanako have spent a lot of time together and have noticed how Hanako started to act differently as a result. Hanako created a relaxed atmosphere and set up a barbecue outside. Cool. Kenzie Page coming to us with a creative finish. Awesome. D'Lo did training for Rebel Cow and Gigi Ray. And Devon did training for Notice and Crawdad. Cool. We'll address the locker room. Let's medal. Let's medal between... Just trying to think. We'll do Valkyrie. Serena Deeb, maybe? Sure. Let's see if that works. Alright, let's book the show. Okay, we start our show off with Ace Romero taking on Takumi Baba. Baba with the 59, Romero with the 47. 53 wrestling rating and a 59-second rating as Baba gets another win. We then have Thekla come out for her first promo in the company with Kathy Kelly, talking about how she can't stand Zuzu thanks to their history in Stardom. Eventually, Zuzu would come out at the top of the ramp or entranceway and just stare her down. We then have Ultrasonic come out to take on the American Guns, in which Ultrasonic would win in 12 minutes. Radar with the 46, Sonica with the 61, Ethan HD 46 and Mike Santiago with a 36. Great chemistry and a tag team bonus is always nice. A 56 segment rating and a 47 wrestling rating. We then have Brother Devon cut a backstage promo with Kathy Kelly talking about how, because of the Thekla interference, Suzu has actually foregone her rematch. So we need a new #1 contender for the women's world title. So tonight there'll be a battle royal to crown the #1 contender. In which Lyra Valkyrie would win the battle royal, last eliminating Kenzie Page. This match would also feature Jazzy Yang, Katie Arquette, Bambi Hall, Christina Von Eerie, Alex Garcia, Hanako, Gigi Ray and Rebel Kell. We had Serena Deeb at ringside, so our title feud going forward is going to be Serena Deeb versus Valkyrie. Creative finish was a success, awesome, 52 segment rating and a 38 wrestling rating. We then cut to the back where the Prawn Patrol are approaching a very angry Hanako who lost her Battle Royal match. They approach her trying to be sneaky, trying to, spring a surprise on her to interrogate her once again. Instantly, she sees them and scares them off. We then have the Church of Disciples defeating Cody Chun and Adrian Notice to retain the tag team titles. A 45 segment rating with 38 wrestling rating. Kerry Orford with the 33, Eric Cannon with the 43, Notice with the 27. He's actually coming quite far. I remember when he was getting like 19s, so he's getting there. And Cody Chun with a 48. Cody Chun we might bring in permanently. He always puts in great performances. We then have Kevin Blackwood and the Prawn Patrol take on KTB, Lord Byron and Mike O'Shea in the main event. A 36 segment rating and a 30 wrestling rating. Kim Black with the 43, he wasn't performing as well as he should. Swoggle with the 26, Cajun Crawdad with the 38, all the rest didn't really perform. But, after the match, the debuting Crazy Steve, who has joined the Circus of Disciples, would attack Kevin Blackwood, in which Ultrasonic and Takumi Baba would run out to make the save. So the Circus has added to their ranks with Crazy Steve. A 48 overall show rating, it's increased our popularity in 18 regions. So let's address the locker room. Let's give it to Valkyrie, since she won the match and we want to keep her in her good books. And we'll give it to Serena Deeb just to make sure she's happy as well. So seemed pleased and was happy. Financial report, we did lose $500, but that's okay. Popularity though, we've gone up to 31 in the Northwest, and Puerto Rico and Hawaii, we are now at 5s. We're also at 9 in the Mid-South and the Great Lakes. So we'll definitely take that. We are just raking it up now. Okay, it's the night after the show, so let's check out our viewing figures. 11,500, we like that. Let's check our finances, because we didn't do it at the end of the month. We're still almost £2,000 up, which is insane, considering how many people we had. And like, we had Valkyrie, we flew in Crazy Steve, Thekla, all sorts. That's really good. We made 3,000 last show. What I do want to do is I actually wanted to search for some smaller promotions. So if we go small and small, no, we're tiny, aren't we? We need to go tiny and tiny. There we go. Is there any of them running out of money apart from us? There is North. Now I'm just wondering, do we just purchase them and get the popularity in the UK and get even more money? Because eventually these guys are going to go bust. And then what we could do, we could actually raid some of their wrestlers and see if we can get them to move over. Like, we could get Chris Ridgway, who I wanted to bring in for a while. We could get Kid Lycos 1 and 2, who I wouldn't mind bringing in. Actually, just Kid Lycos 2. Apparently Kid Lycos isn't wrestling for them anymore. Tate Mayfair's is awesome as well. So there'd be some really good options. I could bring them in. Do they have anything worth taking? Not too much. It cost us 18,000. I'm just wondering, would we make that back in merchandise and stuff? We're going to do it. We're going to attempt to take over. We are going to pillage them. We will keep Chris Ridgway. We'll keep Kid Lycos 2. Keep Session of Martina. And Ricky Knight Jr. for now. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Okay. So pillage. Now what we need to do. Make sure we reset this. We need to go to our networks. Any would be nice. YouTube UK. Get our events on here as well. We'll go on demand because why not? And there you go. So we will have lost money, but I do think we're going to make that money back tenfold, thanks to all the extra popularity we now have in the UK. Like, that's going to help us tremendously with money. I think that's a good, smart play. Actually, before we go, Kid Lycos 2, let's give you some time off. We'll give you a month off to see if you move over. We'll do the same with Session Moth Martina. Time off, a month, and Chris Ridgway. 1 month off. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, there are huge things happening in the wrestling world. Junya Akiyama is leaving DDT. We have Adam Copeland leaving AEW. CM Punk is leaving WWE. Shibata is leaving AEW. We have Eddie Kingston leaving AEW. We'll shortlist Eddie Kingston. Eric Young is leaving TNA. We've also got Eddie Edwards leaving TNA, who's already on our shortlist. He'd be awesome to bring in. Frankie Kazarian is leaving TNA. He should also be on our shortlist. Zelina Vega is leaving the WWE. Audrey Edwards is leaving AEW. We'll shortlist Zelina. We might bring her in. We might wait for her to retire and make her a manager, because she's won Manager of the Month or Manager of the Year 3 times. And she's a really good manager, to be fair, especially a heel one. Nick Gage is leaving GCW. Jonathan Gresham is leaving TNA. He's still with All Japan at the moment, though. Whereas Gresham would be awesome to bring in too. Yeah. Oh, Jamie Hayter is leaving AEW. Crazy stuff happening. Bit too expensive. We'll shortlist her, though, because she's only 31. Potentially down on the road. Like, just insane. So many people having contracts that expire. More people. Valhalla's leaving. Reza's leaving. Judas Icarus is leaving TNA. We've got Josh Bishop leaving MLW. Abandon is leaving AEW. Cora Jade is leaving WWE. The news just doesn't stop. Do we want to shortlist Elena Black? We do. She's only 25. She could be fun to bring in at some point. Because eventually people like Serena Deeb are going to retire. Because, yes, Serena Deeb is 40. So there will be a hole there for us to replace. Cassie Lee, she's 35. She might retire soon before we even get to use her. So yeah, we've got some stuff happening. Okay, things might be about to get a lot more expensive for us. We have a bunch of contracts ending. Okay, Adrian Ortiz still only wants 40, so that's fine. We'll bring him in. Bambi Hall, we're going to keep the Hall sisters for sure. Get them on 2-year writtens again. It's kind of a good time for them to expire, because now that we've got our TV deals, the more we use them, their popularity is going to skyrocket and make them a lot more expensive. So if I can tie these people down now, I am happy. Drexel, oh God, Drexel was on not $100 a month or a show, that's for sure. But you know what, he's earned it. We'll keep the Cook brothers. So, Brian Cook. Oh, he already wants to reduce his schedule. Interesting. I mean, he is 40, okay. I don't blame him. Dion Russman. We definitely want to keep Infamy. So, we'll keep these guys. Ethan HD. Only 4-year show, so yeah, why not? I'm okay with that. Mike Santiago. We'll do the same thing. He also only wants 40, so I'm totally cool with that. He only wants to work at ATV shows and events, that's fine. Sonico. 60 a show, that's actually way better than I expected. I thought he was going to be in the hundreds as well. Popularity. Oh, okay, interesting. Very interesting, we'll take that. We also need to work on our TV deal quick. So which one's running out? It was YouTube USA, right? Extend deal for events. 3 months, perfect. Yeah, cool. Okay, we've got more contracts expiring. So Rebel Kell wants 50 a show. We'll give her that. She was a really good first women's champion. I'm glad we brought her in. Josiah, obviously if we're keeping Infamy around, we need both members, so he can have a pay rise as well for another 2 years. And Ricky Gibson, another man who's been doing really, really well for us. But I am looking at our roster and there's a lot of people in their 40s, so we might end up with a new roster by like this time next year in the game. Okay, it's time for our next show, so let's give people the night off. We'll give Notice the night off. Blanc again, we're just going to probably release him at this rate. Alex Garcia can have the night off. We need Eric Cannon. Bambi Hall can have the night off. The Cooks can have the night off. We need Devon, we need Crawdad. Cassie Lee can have the night off. We need Kathy Kelly, we need Crazy Steve. D.A. Brewer can have the night off because we've got Jessica Carr. We need D'Lo, Drexel. We'll keep Eddie Pearl. Ethan HD can have the night off. We'll keep Gigi Ray. We'll keep Panico, Jessica Carr, Jim Smallman. Josiah needs the night off. Kenzie Page, Kerry Orff, Kevin Blackwood, Kevin Cook. Lisa Hall can have the night off. Santiago. Rebel Kell, Ricky Gibson we need. Ricky Knight Jr. can have the night off. I forgot to give him a month away. We need Serena Deeb, Saya Kitamiani can have the night off. Sonico, Suzu, Swoggle, Baba, Thekla. Cool. Tonight's venue, we are in the Midwest. Finalised broadcasters, so let's get ourselves on everything. Independent, YouTube, perfect. Booking team meeting, let's spend some creative energy. Cool. Hey, D-Lo and Jim Small has some good positive interactions. D-Lo doesn't really add anything though, still. Yep, he wants to hang out backstage, that's fine. D-Lo did training for Gigi Ray. Devon did it for Rossman and Crawdad. I forgot to give Rossman a night off. Eddie Palm Barbara travel buddies, awesome. Drexel lightened up the backstage area. Kevin Egan and Eric Cannon have bonded over a shared love of mime, cool. The more you know, I guess. Let's team bond, see what happens. Strengthen the relationships everywhere. Man, our roster is just getting along like crazy. So let's book the show. I'll see you at the next one. Okay, now opening match. Hood Third would be defeated by Dion Russman, a 46 wrestling rating and a 51 segment rating, getting Dion Russman some more matches and wins. We then have a promo where the Circus Disciples come out to show off Crazy Steve as their newest member, essentially bragging about how their numbers are growing and eventually everyone will be forced to join the circus or will be just exalted. We then have Valkyrie have a squash match against Alma Jardine. Valkyrie looked good here, which we expected. 32 segment rating, 34 wrestling rating. We did have Serena Deeb at ringside. We then have Kevin Blackwood and Takumi Baba defeat Eric Cannon and Kerry Awful in a non-title match. Takumi Baba seemed off his game but still got a 56. Kevin Blackwood got a 65. Awful 33 and Cannon with a 45. 50 wrestling rating and a 61 segment rating. We then cut to the back after the advert where Kevin Blackwood is having an argument with Ultrasonic, which Kathy Kelly interrupts. Unsure what's going on here, but Baba's just sort of stood there. No one really knows what's going on, but there's clearly dissent still within the Rebels. We then have Hanako defeat Ida Bradley, which is a very quick match in which Prawn Patrol are sat in the crowd, disguised in quotations, keeping an eye on Hanako, their prime suspect in the case. We then have Drexel dressing down Eric Cannon and Kerry Awful about losing to inferior people like Kevin Blackwood and Takumi Baba. Thekla makes her in-ring debut, defeating Gigi Ray in 8 minutes by submission. Thekla with the 49 and Gigi Ray with the 31. Thekla with the 42 segment rating and a 40 wrestling rating. The Midnight Heat would defeat Prawn Patrol. 53 segment rating is crazy. That's way better than I expected. And a 44 wrestling rating. Swoggle was the weak link, but I'm not too worried about that. Cajun Crawdad with the 40. Ricky Gibson with the 53 and Eddie Pearl with the 56. We then have cut to the back where Suzu Suzuki and Thekla are brawling through the backstage area. And in our main event, the Circus of Disciples being Crazy Steve and Drexel would defeat Ultrasonic after G.A. Miller would interfere, distract Ultrasonic, and Crazy Steve would get the win. 55 segment rating with a 47 wrestling rating. Crazy Steve with a 42, Drexel with a 45, Radar 44 and Sonico 56. Radar seemed off his game, probably would have been nearer to a 50 then, which would have been amazing. So the show's increased our popularity in 14 regions and a 51 show rating overall. Let's wait for that loud-ass car to go past. If we give some people some praise, let's give Valkyrie to keep her happy because she's like one of our star performers, and we'll give it to Crazy Steve. So seemed pleased and seemed pleased. Financial report, we did lose 4,500. Not amazing, but it's okay. Popularity recap, 22 in the Midwest, a 7 in the Southeast. We've gone up in Canada too. Okay, so after the show, let's just check the news quick, see if we've got anything good. Lots of just extensions. Ali Cat and Matt Makowski have split up, apparently. News-wise, so we can complete our contracts with these guys, which is awesome. Our viewing figures, almost 13,000 is great. Now, finances this month, going to be a little poor. Yeah, we lost 16k, but I do think buying the UK company and the sponsors and merchandise we're going to get from that is just going to skyrocket. I really think that's worth it. Okay, it's the start of the next month, which means it's the end of this episode. News-wise, there doesn't seem to be anything apart from Kane returning, as if anyone really cares anymore. We'll complete the contract of Brother Devon. We had more contracts come up and I didn't really bother extending them. Oh, 260 a show. Kevin Blackwood, man. I mean, you've earned it, but still. Kevin Cook, how much do you want? Only 60, okay. And only to work ATV shows and events. Cool. That's fine. We won't be doing house shows anytime soon. Let's check out finance. So we still made 4k last month, considering we bought the company for 18k. So I really do think we're going to see a huge amount of money this month. I think we're going to be in a very good position. As far as that goes, creativity, is there anything new here? Kevin Blackwood is now one of our main eventers. So he's broken into this. That's always nice to see. They're still next big things. We brought in Oni El Benito. He was actually going to join the Circus of Disciples. The issue is he's injured. So he isn't joining the Circus of Disciples because he's got a broken neck for, I think it's just over a year if we come to absences. Yeah, I forgot to check. Otherwise it was going to be him and Crazy Steve debuting together, but that's obviously not happening now. But alas, that is the end of this episode, so I really hope you have enjoyed. If you have, let us know in the comments what you want to see in any team ideas, title ideas, booking ideas, anything like that. If you're not already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. I need to say a big thank you to our members, so thank you to Genevieve Sweet for becoming a member to the channel. If you want to support the channel, you can by becoming a member today by pressing the join button for less than $1 a month. It helps us tremendously. Regardless, I really do hope you've enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.